Hi, welcome back. I'm Dr. Chris McCusker, the professor, and welcome to another edition of the Quarantine Management Institute. I love spring. Spring is beautiful. And you know, the thing I love about spring, flowers are blooming, and I just feel so alive and happy. I really love it. Oh, these are my buttons. These are my buttons, and my buttons are usually hidden. I don't have them out because I have sometimes not really responded well, or I've not really managed well, I should say, when someone pushes my buttons. So I have them out here because I'd like to talk about buttons and what happens when our buttons are pushed. Oh, sir, what are you doing? No, don't go near those buttons, sir. Stay away from those buttons. Oh no, you put the quarantine button. I'm really sick and tired of people. You need to get in the house, and before I beat stay in the house, okay? You need to stay in the house. When you come out of the house, we're all going to be sick, and people are dying. What is wrong with... Oh, sorry. Somebody pushed my button. On the quarantine. Serenity, flowers, spring, beauty. It's very hard when you're out there and your buttons are out on display here, and somebody comes along and is going to press your buttons. I sometimes have a hard time when people push that quarantine button or other buttons. Oh no, sir, please, no, here we go again. Stop, please. Oh no! We are all dying. The environment is a serious thing. Nothing was said about the environment in the last election. Who are these people leading this country where we don't care about the environment? We're dying. Our planet is... Serenity. I'm sorry to lose my cool, folks. My environment button was pushed, and I really sometimes, with the background layer of stress and all of the bubbling lava, the environment button really shouldn't be pushed, because I sometimes get very strong feelings about that. So anyway, I'm calm again, and I do, sir, please don't. The prison state, are you kidding me? We are 5% of the world's population with 20% of the world's incarcerated population. What is wrong with this country? Why are we locking people up? Privatized prison. Oh, folks, I'm sorry. Let me take these buttons off. I've got to take them off. I'm sorry. No Pelosi, no Trump, no prison state, no environment. Abortion, no way. Religion, let's avoid that. And immigrants, we'll leave that alone. Buttons, folks. Buttons, we all have them. And we need to learn how to manage and relate to each other without reacting when our buttons are pushed. I once had a coworker. Let me call her Venus. Venus was extremely beautiful. And her beauty was really coming from this inner Zen-like peace and positivity that she would just, spread around the workplace, in the office. And I remember one time I was in a meeting, and things got ugly in the meeting, and I regret what happened. I told someone some things I shouldn't have said. So I went to talk to Venus, and Venus heard me out. She listened. I felt the cathartic effect of having somebody listen to me. But then Venus said something very important to me. She said, I have to remember the difference between a reaction and a response. And she explained that difference to me, and I thought about it, and I realized I have buttons that can be pushed. And when somebody pushes those buttons, I do not want to react. What you saw was my button was pushed on the quarantine, and I reacted, and I lost my temper and raised my voice and talked about people needing to stay inside. My button was pushed on the environment. We've got climate change, and it looks like we need to do something other than just carry on as usual. And my button was pushed on the prison state. 20% of the world's population that is incarcerated, but only 5%. I don't want to put the button down. A reaction is kind of an uncontrolled emotional outburst. It's like what we spoke of when we talked about bubbling lava. We will react, and that reaction is uncontrolled. We're liable to raise our voice. We're liable to say things that hurt people, and we have to try not to do that. The other possibility is a response. When somebody pushes my button, I could respond instead of reacting. A response is something that's planned and controlled. A response is more in tune with civil society and civil discourse and respect and responsibility. I think about Ali and the story of the racist who bought a hot dog. In that situation, Ali responded. He didn't react. The reaction would have been to punch that guy and lay him out on the sidewalk. The response was to ignore what was said, do your job, and carry on. Responding requires that we anticipate, that we have buttons that can be pushed, and we are one step ahead. We're saying, okay, if we get into that conversation, I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to go toe-to-toe with somebody. I'm going to try to take a look at the big picture and respond in a way that I maintain respect, and I maybe listen with my whole body to what that person is saying. And by showing respect and by listening, I'm showing leadership, and I'm more likely to have influence. In the end, what we want is influence. We want to influence one another in the context of a debate about any of these issues that we might be concerned with. And in order to have influence, we've got to respond and not react. So I learned something very important from Venus, who has a very healthy energy and inner beauty, who alerted me to the difference between reacting and responding. We all have buttons. You should know what your buttons are. And when your buttons are pushed, I hope you join me in trying our best to respond.